What's the crusade you're going on? A mission to live your life's purpose and passion. What if this year is the last year of your life? What's your God-sized dream? What do you stand for? Live your best life this year. Now, that's the time. I'm going on a crusade to change people's mindsets every single day. So are you on board? Today's episode, powered by my friends over at CarnoSyn beta-alanine. Yep, I've been working with CarnoSyn for a long time now, and I've been using pre-workout for, the better part of my life. And CarnoSyn, thank you for all you do to give me an edge in my workouts. And these days, I need every edge I can get. As a coach and trainer for over 25 years in the trenches, training the most elite athletes in the world, there's a few things when I guide them about supplements and what to do, what not to do. First and foremost, I always want to make sure that some supplement is NSF certified, one that is going to make sure that there's no banned substances in that supplement. And CarnoSyn beta-alanine, the logo that appears inside most leading brands of pre-workout, you want to make sure it says CarnoSyn to ensure that there's zero banned substances. And CarnoSyn is backed by over 55 scientific studies. You want to make sure that you have CarnoSyn beta-alanine in your pre-workout if you take your pre-workouts to improve your strength, endurance, power, and of course, even your focus. 3.2 grams a day is what I take. If I'm really amping that up and getting after it, you could take up to 6.4 grams per day for even faster results. Do me a favor, hop over to CarnoSyn.com/TD. Yes, CarnoSyn built me my own page. I got a page there that you go there and got my little formula of what I take and some routines that you could check out, CarnoSyn.com/TD. And whether you go online and order a pre-workout or you order your CarnoSyn, know this. CarnoSyn beta-alanine is inside of major leading pre-workout brands, but I wanted you to make sure that CarnoSyn logo is represented. So thank you, CarnoSyn, for all you do for powering this podcast, and more importantly, for powering me as well. Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And you always hear me talking about never stop learning. You got to keep learning. You got to keep growing. You got to keep getting better and better and better. Matter of fact, speaking of better, today we have two of our interns from Fitness Quest 10 in the house. And I'm so excited because we talk about learning and growing. We have had an internship program at Fitness Quest 10 for over a decade. And we've had some amazing future trainers and coaches come in through our program and have done some amazing things. So I'm expecting some big things out of you two. And everything from getting into the fitness world, into the coaching world, into strength and conditioning, opening own businesses, online, brick and mortar, you name it. Over a decade of folks who have created some great impact. But today, two of our interns are in the house and they're going to fire away some questions at yours truly about some things they wanted to learn. Like, hey, we got to put this on the pod. So without further ado, let's introduce yourselves. Chad, you go first.
Hi, I'm Chad Wilkins.
Yep.
I am a senior at San Diego State University. And just, you want me to go into the internship and
why did you pick Fitness Quest 10?
Well, I picked Fitness Quest 10 as a part of an internship program that our school is running, and it's a requirement to do the internship, and it's a great opportunity to, as you said, keep learning, keep growing, and it's just a great offered experience for us. Yep. And I came in to interview with Fitness Quest 10, and I immediately fell in love with it. I interviewed at other internships, but I did not feel the kind of community and camaraderie and just the vibe I was looking for. And everyone was hardworking. Everyone was in there, like, very nice to meet you. Hope to see you around again. Willing to ask more questions instead of just the very surface level thing. And just,
Love it.
Which it was honestly the selling point right there. Because the interviews are the first impressions. And the first impression was like, I feel at home here. I see everyone's busting their butt in the gym right now and still have time to come and ask me some personal questions to really get to know me. And I was drawn to it. So,
culture, baby. Culture. That's what it's all about. Jennifer, introduce yourself. Tell the world all about you.
I'm Jennifer Tidball. I am a 20-year veteran of the United States Navy. I was combat medic.
Thank
I
you.
did 5 deployments. 2 of them were to Iraq, and that's when I got into fitness. Was my second tour in Iraq when I went with SEAL Team 5. So
Whoa.
I am also a senior at SDSU, and we're both doing the internship together. And I didn't know where I was going to do my internship. And our professor said, you need to check out Fitness Quest 10 because you like working with military. They have athletes, they have everybody there. You'll fit there. So I interviewed with Ryan Rogers, loved him, and then came in for the first time and fell in love with it. It was awesome.
Well, both of you doing a great job in your internship. 20-year vet.
20 years.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for having me.
And a medic?
Yes, combat. Well, it's called an independent duty corpsman, but a lot of people don't understand what that is. So it's kind of like a doctor or a physician assistant. We just don't have any credentials. So combat medic.
Wow. So you got some great stories. We'll have to come back to it at some point. But thank you for your service. And what made the transition for you? Like, hey, I want to go into fitness after your career in the military?
I actually went to the nursing program and decided I didn't want to be responsible for people's lives anymore, because you meet people and they're like, help me get better. And you tell them how to get better. And they're like, I'm not going to do that. Whereas with fitness, people come to you because they want to get better, not because they're about to sick or whatever.
Yeah. You know, it's one thing I've said in the fitness industry. The fitness industry needs more men and women who have served in the military to come into fitness. I think some of our top teammates, employees who we've ever had are folks who have been in the military before and have done some amazing things. I think a lot of times when one retires, graduates, gets out of the military, they're searching for their next step. They're searching, many of them, not all of them, but many of them are looking for that next thing. And one of the things with fitness and coaching, you can change lives and find that deep purpose. And man, if you are someone who has served in the military, I believe that a career in fitness is a great way to certainly serve other people, serve a great purpose, if that's something that's near and dear to your heart. Because let me tell you what, after 20 years in the military, I know you're primed for a great career ahead of you as well. So, hey, today's episode is all about never stop learning, and they've got some questions they wanted to ask me. So we're going to rapid fire away. Jennifer, you're going to go first with a question that you'd like to learn, and I'll give you some insight, and we'll have a little conversation.
Okay. So we just talked about this. I spent 20 years in the military as an independent duty corpsman, and now I'm graduating in May with a bachelor's from SDSU in kinesiology. Throughout my time at SDSU, I've learned things I didn't know existed before SDSU. An example of this would be the CSCS certificate. I'd never heard of that before. So tell me how this certification is significant and how it helped you build your business and brand, and how it will or will not be useful to someone like me.
Specifically the CSCS.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's have the little certification talk here. I'm going to take y'all back a long, long way. I'm in massage therapy school, Dunwoody, Georgia. It's in the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia. You know it?
I'm from Florida and Georgia.
All right. That Florida-Georgia line. On that. Did anyone get that? No? Okay. So I'm in massage therapy school, and I was loving massage therapy. I was in an off season. I'm like, I need to get my personal training certification. And I decided I was going to get my ACE certification, American Council on Exercise, in the fitness industry, as one of the gold standards. And I did. And in 1994, I believe it was, I got my ACE personal training certification. I got my massage therapy certification, a certificate to do massage therapy after 500 hours of learning that. And at the same time, I knew I eventually, I believed, wanted to work with athletes. And I heard about the National Strength and Conditioning Association has the CSCS, a Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. And I realized if you wanted to go into pro sports or college, work with high-level athletes, that the CSCS was the gold standard to work with athletes. So I actually took that test as well while in massage therapy school, and at that point became a CSCS. To answer your question, how impactful was it in my business and in my growth? I don't care what certification is. I think I'm all into learning. I think the more learning we can get, the better. And I don't care if it was 1995 or if it's 2025. Learning will always be pivotal. Now, I do think this. I think the one thing that certification does, besides give you some additional knowledge and wisdom, it a lot of times gives you confidence. it gives you the confidence to actually go for a job, or, hey, I've got a MA after my name, so I'm, quote, I'm going to open my business. It is not necessary to have a master's degree to run a business, or it's not necessary to have a certain diploma or certification to be successful. In my 25-year plus career in fitness and strength and conditioning, I can honestly tell you that I've never been asked by anybody in the client world, what certification do you have? I've never been asked, hey, do you have a CSCS or an ACE or an NASM or this or that? Never been asked. So I think it's important from a confidence and getting the knowledge and wisdom. I love what the NSC offers. I love what ACE offers. And there's a lot of other governing bodies that I've worked with that are amazing to give you the knowledge necessary. Now, if you tell me you want to be a college strength and conditioning coach, you want to go work in the pro world, you're going to probably need a CSCS, and you're probably going to need a master's degree to do that. So starting out, one of the lessons I learned was it wasn't about the certifications. It was really about connecting with people, serving people, and having the knowledge base that is necessary to help people. Bottom line is people want to be helped. So I loved when I started Fitness Quest 10, year 2000, I had a master's degree. I had a master's degree in biomechanics and sports medicine from San Diego State. My undergraduate was in kinesiology. It's in kinesiology from William & Mary. And I had a lot of certifications. I hung those certifications up on the wall. And I guess it gave me a little more confidence when I was just starting out that, hey, I've got all these certifications. I'm qualified, right? Looking back, I don't know if that was necessary or not. People want to know, can you help me or not? So I'm all into certifications and learning and, mentorships, internships like this. A lot of times I say this, so an internship or a mentorship, a lot of times you can learn more in 6 months in that than you can even in a 4-year degree sometimes, of actually learning how to work with people. If you can take the arts and science, the science of what you learn in school and the certification, marry it with the art of changing someone's life, now we got a lethal combination. Does that help?
It does. Thank you very much.
Of course, yeah. How about you, Chad?
Something I was really curious about, actually, was when starting Fitness Quest 10, how did you market yourself to build the necessary credibility to not only recruit community members, but also professional athletes?
Well, it was a different era. Let's start with that. There wasn't social media,
Right, yeah.
right? So it was a different era back then. And I get, if those of you who remember year 2000, I was just about 30 years old starting Fitness Quest 10. And the one thing I learned in that, everyone said, hey, you got to get into what was called the Scripps Ranch newsletter. And it was a newsletter, went out to about 10,000 homes in Scripps Ranch. And I took out a full print ad, and said, we will change your lives. And I said, when I say we, it was me, right? Like I was a one-person show at the time. We will change your lives. And it was print ad. But that's how we got started. But really what was important, we are in a retail shopping center. So there was some walk-in traffic. People were like, hey, what is this one-on-one training studio? Now, studios exist all over the place, all over the world right now. But in year 2000, there were not a lot of training studios that were non-membership, didn't have a membership. The way that we existed was you come train with me one-on-one, and that's how we operate. And if you don't train, then you can't work out here. It was all one-on-one training. Nowadays, like, oh yeah, isn't that the way it is? Well, it wasn't 22 years ago. And all it was about was getting that first person. And Donna Dickinson, when she hobbled in here as a 60-something-year-old tennis player who loved playing tennis and wanted to be on the court, who had bad knees, and I helped her, she was a beacon of light in the tennis community. She started telling people about me and what we did here. And she brought in someone else, and that person, it was word of mouth. And it sounds like it's rhetorical, but word of mouth to this day is still our best form of marketing. It's not a passive thing, it's active. We actually ask, hey, if you know someone who can utilize our services, please let us know and come on into Fitness Quest 10. The other thing I would say as far as getting started was truly just like we would today is just caring for people, truly caring on them in every aspect, in every way of caring, because we didn't have the fanciest equipment. It was all refurbished equipment. It was carpet on the floor. I didn't have money for rubber flooring. And it was really just about helping people be the best they could be back then. Yeah. That was the jump start to getting from no clients to one client to next thing I know, a few months in, I'm now starting to see, 10, 12, 15 different clients coming through the doors.
And when you had them coming through the doors, was it just you, or did you start hiring on a staff as well to help support you?
Yeah, I didn't even know how to hire a staff, but we started to get. My philosophy was when I started was I wanted to have both training and massage therapy under one roof because of my background with my back injury over in Europe. I wanted to be able to have training, athletic training, personal training, and bodywork massage therapy, Rolfing, structural integration. So I was literally bebopping back and forth between a one-on-one training session at 9 o'clock a.m. and at 10 o'clock, I'd have a massage therapy session with somebody. So after a while, I was like, I'm going to get busy real quick. I need to hire someone. So we did bring in a trainer. And matter of fact, many of you have heard Brett Klicka on the podcast before. Brett was one of my first hires as a trainer. We also had Pilates because my wife, now wife Melanie, who was my girlfriend at the time, when we opened up the business, she also taught Pilates. And Pilates has been part of the Fitness Quest 10 offerings for 22 years now as well. Yeah. So Melanie brought on a gal named Lucy Garcia, and Lucy started helping with Pilates. I brought on a massage therapist, Frank, who started helping me with. He was a wonderful body worker in the beginning. And Marco and Linda, I started, and I still remember all their names because 22 years ago, getting started, it was very, very intimate, a staff of 3, 4, 5, and we grew. Within 2 years, we had 16 trainers, massage therapists, Pilates instructors, and a yoga instructor as well. To answer your question about the athletes, I always wanted to work with athletes, but I was disconnected from the athlete community when I got started because I was so busy in putting out the fires of opening a business. Is I didn't know how to tap into that community. And at that time, we did have the San Diego Chargers here. And I had the intention of somehow one day maybe working with them. And one of the Pilates clients that I had, she comes up to me one day. She said, "Hey, I understand you used to have a bad back. My husband has a bad back. Do you think you can help him?" I'm like, "Absolutely. I would love the opportunity to help him." Well, in walks this guy who is 6'6", 330 pounds, behemoth of a man. I'm like, who is this? And it was Vaughn Parker. Vaughn Parker was the starting left tackle for the San Diego Chargers. Vaughn and I we had a bodywork session. I'm doing bodywork on him. And what happened was in the very first session, about 15 minutes into the session, I'm doing this hip rotator release technique. This was the secret sauce that got me out of pain and off of Vicodin when I was, playing ball and hurt my back. And I had been through all the trainings and all the certifications we talk about. I'm like, this is my opportunity. And while I'm doing the side-lying hip rotator release technique release, I started hearing this splintering. I'm like, what is that? Like, is that the table? All of a sudden, I'm like, the table breaks in half. And Vaughn Parker is lying on the ground.
Oh, no.
I'm like 15 minutes in with what my first athlete I have ever worked with. He's like, what just happened? I'm like, I don't know. But I had just watched literally a VHS tape, not even a DVD, VHS. Is anyone else out there remember VHS tapes? And I was watching a Thai massage VHS. Never stop learning. I'm watching this Thai massage. I'm like, this is beautiful. It's all about flow. And I'm watching them like have their shoes off and they're stretching these folks. I'm like, wow, that is great. So Vaughn Parker's on the ground. My table is broken in half. I had one table. I'm like, I'm going to start doing some Thai work on him. I'm like, relax, just chill there. Next thing I know, I'm literally walking on Vaughn Parker's back. I'm grabbing his feet and doing this psoas stretch. And oh yeah. He's like, this is great. Where'd you learn this? I'm like, don't worry about it. It's part of my arsenal. Right. And 45 minutes, I'm sweating like a dog. And he's like, that was amazing. I'm like, thanks. It's this Thai massage stuff that I've learned. I watched the VHS tape on it, literally. And he's like, do you think you can come down on Mondays after the Chargers games and do this type of work on the athletes? He goes, I know the trainer, James, really well. I'll get him in. I'll get you in on Monday afternoons. I'm like, I could probably come down and do body work. I don't know if I'm going to do the Thai massage work. Yeah. But he's like, dude, that was amazing. My back feels better. You would really help the guys. We're banged up on Mondays. Next thing I know, 2 weeks later, I'm in on Mondays in the team room, stretching out the guys, doing all the body work and massage for the San Diego Chargers. The reason I share that funny story now, looking back, was because at the end of that season, that's when LaDainian Tomlinson, my first athlete who I ever worked with on the training side, came up to me and said, "Hey, I hear you do this thing called functional fitness. I'd like to get training with you." And the day after the season ended, LaDainian started training with me, who I count LaDainian 2003 as my first training athlete. And just a couple weeks later, he brought in Drew Brees, and in the word of mouth, in the athlete community, it's all word of mouth. But that's how I got my in, by a cracked table and and Thai massage.
Some improvising for sure.
Improvising. But if I wasn't watching that VHS tape or DVD or streaming video, and I wasn't learning, I wouldn't know what to do. I would have had to end the session. I would have no idea. But I'm doing all these techniques that I ended up later on putting into a program I called OPB, Optimal Performance Bodywork. I did my own DVDs and VHS tapes, and now it's streaming. People can still learn that. I look a little different because it was like 25 years ago. But that's still part of my passion. I love the bodywork side on that. But that's how I got in, is learning. And then when things had got thrown for a curveball, he's like, "This is amazing. Where'd you learn this?" I literally learned it from a VHS tape, right? It wasn't a certification. I had Thai massage or, at that point. So that's how it all started, to answer your question.
Yeah, no, that word of mouth, it sounds like it. Well, that seemed like the key. And it's like your guys' extraordinary level of care and service too, that just, they become your best.
Hey, listen, I wouldn't say nowadays that's the only way, because I think now you need to be a little more sophisticated in a marketing approach. But word of mouth certainly is crucial. Now, here's the thing: you could be a great marketer, but if you're not good at your craft, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of great marketers out there, but can you change lives? Can you get results with the clients that they want the results? Whether it's as a trainer, whether it's as a coach, if I'm doing business coaching or life coaching or my GSD coaching with someone and I can't get the results they need, then what kind of coach am I? So the bottom line is, with any coach, your results speak magnitudes. When LT, just a couple years after working, won the league MVP, and did some amazing things. And when you get results, your clients get results, that speaks of great terms. If someone loses 25 pounds and cleans up the nutrition and cleans up their mindset and is thriving in their relationships, in their career, and they attribute you or your studio or your gym to their success, that gets great results. So word of mouth is very important. You got to marry the marketing with deliverables, right? Hey, if the podcast isn't any good, we may look pretty, but if it's not any good, then people ain't going to listen. So thank y'all for listening, because I don't look very good right now. Jennifer, let's go back to you. Another question. I'll give you another question. So
I do. Okay, so I'm telling my friends and family all about you, because
thank you.
They haven't heard of you before. I apologize for that, but
thank you.
Super excited.
You know what? I like when people don't hear about me.
Yeah.
And it's a new person listening in. I actually like that. So thank you for sharing with your family.
I am just bragging you all up and down.
Thank you.
Okay. So my friends and family are going to listen to this. They're going to. I'm going to make them. Please explain your passion, purpose, impact, and mastermind in a way that would hook them into continuing to listen to your podcast.
Well, here's the bottom line. I think today everyone needs some juice. Everyone needs some energy. Everyone needs a little bit of hope, and it's all about winning the day. I'm all for like your life plan and reverse engineering, and I've got the whole system in a plan on how to do that. But right now is the time that we got to do everything we can to win the day. Heck, win the moment. Like right now, like I got to pick up the pace. If you're out there working out right now, you're walking, you're jogging, you're running, you're doing push-up squats, like we got to pick it up, like win the moment. So I'd say this, I talk about passion. Passion is energy. People are like, man, how do you fabricate so much energy? I'm like, it's not fabricated. That's real life juice. It's come from the inside. For me, as a man of faith, it's come from the big man up top. But passion is finding your gifts in life, discovering them, and then having the audacity and the courage to live those things every single day, every single moment. And even when you don't feel like it, you got to do it. The purpose is, this is a question I've been on since the beginning of this year, is I've been talking about this God-sized dream. It really comes down to your divine purpose. What are you being called to do? And you don't find purpose. You don't find it. Like, you discover it through trial and error. When I was in my 20s and going to school, living in 11 cities in less than 5 years, studying with gurus and people who could heal my back, and going to graduate school out here in San Diego and doing all these certifications, I was all over the place. I was searching. I was an athletic trainer who was volunteering 1,500 hours to get my ATC. I was adjunct faculty all at the same time, 7 days a week, 25 hours a day. I was doing something. And really looking back, all it was to discover where were my greatest gifts and how can I put them into a role. Because when I started Fitness Quest 10, I had no idea I wanted to open a gym. I never grew up thinking, I want to be a personal trainer who owns a gym. That wasn't my dream. And I think sometimes people think, oh, what you do, is that your dream? No, it wasn't. What it was my purpose is to change lives and inspire millions to greatness. Now, how I do that's going to change. I'm not always going to be training. Like this podcast started because I'm like, how can I reach more people on the other side of the world? And I always love hearing from people from different countries, other sides of the planet. They're like, hey, I listened to the Todd Durkin Impact show, and it helped me get off a really deep cliff that I was in, and I was in a good space, or my relationships have flourished, or my business has flourished, my mindset or my health has flourished, all of these things. So we talk about purpose. It's really discovering that, and you've got to discover that by making mistakes or things, life hits you, upside the head, and you find a way. And then the impact. That is my life. It's my life. When the going get tough, I'm thinking about the kid who just shared with me a couple hours before this podcast recording, who came up and gave me a hug and said, I just needed to feel some energy today. I'm struggling on the football field. I'm like, that's why I do what I do. Is that's impact. And y'all know, if you have not listened to episodes 1 and 2, go back. I'll tell you all about what impact is. Episodes 1 and 2 of this show, of this entire podcast, 200 and something episodes ago. Impact. It's a way of life. For me, if I'm building a brand, a culture, those principles are always going to be in there. And those were created and discovered over 25 years of making mistakes and getting a few accolades every now and then. But to me, passion, purpose, and impact is a way of life.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks,
and thank you
Jen.
for this opportunity to work here. I've learned so much from you and your trainers.
What's the best thing you've learned?
The functional, I forget what it's called. I apologize. Jesse does it. One of your trainers, Jesse, does it.
FRC?
Yes, okay. FRC. I'm about to look into that, because that looks amazing. Yep. For just mobility, range of motion, everything. Yep. So you guys have taught me stuff I didn't even know existed. Yeah. So I'm so excited.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. If there's any advice I'd give, and I love FRC, I love FST, I love OPB, I love MAs and CSCSs. Right. Let's just never get stuck in just getting certification, not taking action. Right. I think some people hide behind certification. They just keep getting that, but they never take the steps necessary to get to where you want to go. Because guess what? I'm now 50 years old, and I still feel like I have so much to learn. I got so far to go. I got to take another, I'm all in. Learning never stops. Learning never stops. Keep learning. Keep doing these certs. I think they put some juice in you. Just make sure while you're getting these certs and you're learning that you're taking action and taking risk of what you want to do with your life, so that you're not just hiding behind the comfort zone of school and not getting the experience, like you had hands-on experience, coaching people, training people. Do both simultaneously, because you can. Because a lot of my weekends now, or when I'm in a car, I'm listening to a podcast like this, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to say, how can I get better? Whether it be leadership, whether it be faith, spirituality, whether it be fitness and health, nutrition, it's always learning. And I think that's the growth mindset. Folks who are listening in right now, y'all can appreciate that. But with Jennifer and Chad today talking about their experience, these are great questions. I really love them. Thank you. Chad, one more question.
Well, for my last question, it's mainly for those that are looking to be an entrepreneur in the fitness industry. So I guess when you were starting Fitness Quest 10, knowing what you know now, what would you go back in time and tell yourself when you were starting Fitness Quest 10?
It's a good one, huh? It's a question I get a lot, and I hate to answer it this way, but I'm going to. Okay. I wouldn't change a thing, because I like where I'm at right now. So whatever's I did then led me to where I'm at today. So I like where I'm at today. But if I was to share with someone to not make maybe some of the same mistakes I made that could save them, I'll say tens of thousands of dollars, but I'm being conservative. I made some mistakes along the way.
Right.
I didn't have money when I got started. I had no business plan. Don't start a business without a business plan. Have a business plan. And in your business plan, you want to make sure you have your financial projections. And in that financial projection, you have a BAB and a day out. Your BAB and your day out. Your base acceptable bottom line, worst case scenario, this is how much money I need to generate in order to pay the bills. My day out, desirable, attainable objective is if all the stars align, this is how much money I'm going to generate. And you want to be between the BAB and the day out. Thank you, Wayne Cotton, teaching me this on a napkin in 1999. He's like, what's your BAB? What's your day out? I'm like, what is that? Because here's what happens is when you do your business plan, always your expenses are going to be double of what you project and your revenue will be half of what you expect. Let me repeat that, folks listening in. And if you're in business, you're like, yeah, TD, preach this. Your expenses will be double than what you expect, and your revenues will probably be half of what you expect. So you need to make sure that you plan accordingly because it's easy to spend money. It's not always easy to make money. Yeah. So you got to be concerned with how much you spend, and you need to make sure you're real smart with how you do that. And you have to actually go out there and drive revenue because cash is king. So the reason I share that is because I made mistakes even along the way of hiring, quote, too many people and having overhead that about, it was tough because I was in growth mode and just bringing on people all the time. That was something I had to really trim back and trim the fat. One of the things that COVID did allowed all of us is to trim some fat off our teams as well. Another thing I would say is you got to find people who support your strengths, but aren't the same as you.
Right.
So I'm a guy of passion. I'm a high energy.
Yeah.
Some of our best trainers are the exact opposite of me. They're introverts. They're quiet. They approach training differently than me. At first, I was like, man, I need people like me. No. I don't want or need people like me all the time. What's really important in our culture now is you'll see we have people of all walks, ages, shapes, and sizes coming in here. And let me tell you something. And this is the truth. Not everybody wants me. Right?
Yeah.
There are people that he works with so-and-so. I now say, not everyone's going to want me. I'm okay with that. You know what? I'm not the best person for everybody. Like I know who I'm really good with, and I know who I'm probably not best for, or what's even where I'm not going to operate best because it's not going to fire me up to work with that person. So having people around you that you can say, okay, here's how I'm going to try to change this person's life, Ryan or Jenna or whoever name the trainer is probably best with this person. So I would say those are a few of the things that I've learned along the way getting started to answer your question.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Good.
That.
Hey, final things. Tell me about how one could find you. Are you guys looking for jobs? Interns always need jobs. Like what's your hope and plan for the future now? Chad, you go first.
Well, my hope and plan for the future at the moment, I will be joining the Air Force Fire Protection and then eventually LA County Fire. And that's how I got into fitness was trying to get myself in shape for a career as a fireman. And turned out I loved it. Immediately changed my major into kinesiology fitness specialist because I love fitness so much. And I eventually want to bring my passions together for firefighting and service and fitness and bring them together. So that's my hopes and dreams, and that's what I've been working my whole life towards. So
you'll be in the Air Force
Fire Protection.
Love it.
And then after my 4 to 6 years, I haven't signed anything yet, but I've been meeting with recruiters. After my either 4 to 6 years go out, it's been my dream to work LA County Fire. And then eventually I want to either start something or work as a personal trainer. And I'd love to work with first responders because they have a very physically demanding job, as we all know. And I think it's best for firemen to be at peak fitness because if you have someone that has inadequate fitness, they're potentially putting themselves at risk, but other people that might be victim to other dangers. So,
Love it.
Yeah.
And why LA County Fire? Does it matter what fire department?
To be honest, I was just been drawn to LA County Fire because I have very close family friends that worked out there. A lot of ride-alongs and stuff.
Okay, cool. Jennifer, how about you?
I am still trying to decide what I want to do, but I know that I really like community. I don't work well by myself. So I'm a strong, independent woman, but I like having a community around me. So I don't want to go out and work by myself. I want to work maybe with a company or with a group of people or something like that. But I am looking for personal training, group fitness.
When did you retire from the military?
2014.
What's been the hardest transition into the civilian world? Or
Becoming
what
a
was?
civilian.
Yeah.
Because I was just talking to Jeff about this yesterday. I was in the military. I was mean. I was not easy to get along with at all. So
I don't see that.
I know. I'm such a princess now. So now that I'm meeting all these new people and seeing all these personalities and understanding that it's okay to let people be people. You don't have to have that strict mentality of do it this way or we're all going to get in trouble. So as I get to know more people and see how people are, I'm becoming softer and gentler. Yeah.
Yep. Tapping into that yin side.
Yes.
All right, good. Well, I think regardless of where you're at in your walk, I think we're always doing soul searching,
Yes.
right? We're always doing this litmus test of how's my career going? Am I happy? Am I making the kind of money that I'm making? Am I making the kind of impact that I'm making? Who are the people around me? What's the culture like? Do I like where I'm at? Do I not like where I'm at? Where could I be at? I think these are the questions that a lot of people have. And as you face that here, I think it's really important to, on a regular basis, a daily basis, to be sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are lifting you up, who are encouraging you, because the last I checked, no one complained that because they got too many people encouraging them or we're giving them some positivity. So that's what we do here. And I'm really, really thankful and grateful for you and both of you for your internship here at Fitness Quest 10. I'm excited for the next steps for you. Where can one follow you? If someone wants to follow you, is there a good place, social media?
I am on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but never.
What's your handle?
I don't know it.
You better know it. Hey, there's it. You better know it. If you want to have contact with people and network with people with business, you need to make sure whether it's LinkedIn, your YouTube, your Instagram, your Twitter, you got to know your handles. I think it's important that you know that. Chad.
For me, pretty much all I have is an Instagram, and it's CWilkins15. And that's my handle. That's it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. And this is interesting because, by the way, when I say you better know it, if you use social media. Not everyone uses social media, right? We assume they do, but if you want to grow your business, which is one of the questions about growing your business, social media can be one of the huge assets in growing or in creating a culture in your business as well. So, do you have something else, Jennifer?
I do. Actually, you can find me. I just didn't know my handles. So it's Jen, Jenn, Knuth, Knuth, Tidball, Tidball.
We'll put that in the show notes. So when you see that, if you like to follow Jennifer or Chad and all the great things that they will be doing and making us proud, like the thousands of interns who have gone before you, go make us proud here. And thank you for what you guys do.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having us. Yeah.
Guys, that's a wrap of today's show. Thank you to Jen Tidball and Chad Wilkins for making some magic happen. You always ask, hey, what happens at the FQ10 internship? And what are some of the things that go on? Well, let me tell you what. They're not just making sure that Fitness Quest 10 stays clean and is clean. They're learning. They're in the trenches. They have educational programs with Ryan Rogers, who does an amazing job. They're in the hands with our trainers and our coaches and our clients. They're assisting in many ways on the training side, the business side, on the social side, all the different things. So you want more information on that, certainly just hop over to fitnessquest10.com. You can get more information there. Certainly hit me up, drop me a question. I always love hearing from you. Go out there today and have an amazing day. And remember this, never stop learning. Go out there and make it a great day. Train hard, eat right, live inspired, and create impact.